How's everyone doing? Great. Good? Yeah? So, my name is Bill Carmody. I am also called the marketing whisperer, right? Because I've been whispering in the ears of the Fortune 500 for over 22 years. I'm really delighted to be here at this cupcake with you today. It was a sunny day in sunny California, Santa Rosa, California, where I was from. I was with my brother. I was 12 years old. He was 10. We were riding in our cul-de-sac. And in that cul-de-sac, we had this powerful feeling of freedom because it was summer. And you know how summer is when you're a kid. You got nothing going on, right? It's beautiful. My parents asked me to come into the house. I remember thinking, my brother, it's not dinner time. What's going on? So we park our bikes and we walk into the house. And as we step into the house, my dad says, why don't you guys sit down? Now I know something's up. Someone die? What happened? I look over and my mom is fighting back her tears. Now I know something serious is wrong. My dad just gets right to the point and he says, your mother and I are separating. I was in shock. What does this mean? I don't understand. He went on to explain that they love each other very much. They will still be together and I'll still get to see him, but he just won't be living in the house anymore. I'm trying to process this, and as soon as he starts talking about leaving, my brother jumps off the couch, grabs him by the legs, and says, don't leave, Daddy. Please don't leave. You can imagine my father, who was trying to be strong, started to cry. I'd never seen my father cry before. And watching my father and my brother crying and looking at each other, my mom couldn't take it. She started bawling. And my dad took it for as long as he could, and then he gently but forcibly removed my brother from his leg and walked out the door. I sat there and I thought, everything has changed, but I don't know what this means. My first reaction was, well, I guess now I'm the man of the house. I'm 12 years old, right? What the hell does that mean? Looking back now, it seems silly, but at the time, I was serious. It's my turn to take care of my family. So what do? I went out and got 5 jobs. My next door neighbor, he wanted to create a lawn care business. Immediately, we started that business and started cutting lawns and started making some money that way. I got a paper out, had a bunch of odd jobs, but the one that really taught me the most was being a salesperson. I, at 12 years old, started going door to door, knocking on doors and seeing if people wanted to buy a newspaper subscription. Now, I don't know if you've ever done door-to-door sales. It sucks, right? Because when you go out there, they tell you right away that for every 10 houses you knock on the door on, 1 might buy. 9 will definitely say no. So you have to be ready to get rejection 9 times before you can get the 1 yes. So I said, well, how do I make this fun? How do I enjoy the experience of being rejected, right? How can I make this fun? So here's what I did. I walked up to the door, knock, 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 12 years old. Hi, I'm Bullshit Bill, and I'm here to sell you something you absolutely don't need. It was disarming. It was something that said, what? First of all, as a kid, he's like, what's going on? And then I went on to proceed to talk to him about, hey, listen, I know you don't need a newspaper. But the thing is, I'm going to give it to you for 90 days for free. And just by signing up for these free 90 days, you're going to be helping me out a lot. Because there was always some contest that I would reference because there was always some contest going on. And I want to win, right? And the thing was, I would disarm the people at the door. They thought it was funny. They realized there was no risk. I built rapport. And I became the fastest growing salesperson for the Santa Rosa Press-Democrat. My technique was such that I got to teach some of the other kids how to do this. But this is when I learned that I was an influencer. Everybody else got 1 sale out of 10 doors. My average was 3. So I could get 3 people to sign up for every 10 doors I knocked on. It was phenomenal. They just didn't believe. How did you do this? It was about influence. I could never force someone who didn't want to buy something to buy something. You can't do that. But in the brilliance of the Santa Rosa Press Democrat, they created the 10 most common objections. And if you knew ahead of time what people were likely to say, you could plan for it. You can say, I understand you think that, but, or have you ever considered? Or, and you sort of just give them some other ways of thinking. And that worked really well for me. And that's the day that I knew that I was an influencer. You all are influencers. Whether you know it or not, everyone sitting in this room and everybody watching on that screen is an influencer. And the way you know you're an influencer is because you influence people every day. It's just that there's a spectrum. Do you influence just your closest friends, or do you go broader? Later today, you're going to hear from a travel blogger, Leslie. She's amazing, right? And one of the things that she's going to be talking about is sort of how she decided after college that she just jumped in and she decided to sort of write about her travel adventures, right? She's an influencer, but she made a business out of it. So some people choose to do that. Think about it. I'm a marketing influencer. So if you want to know about digital marketing, I'll talk to you all day long. I love it. I've been doing it for 22 years. I built some very first commercial websites for AT&T, MasterCard, CVS, Zima.com in 1994, right? At that time, there was only 50,000 websites in existence, and they were all commercial. They were all government, and they were all educational. I got to build the very first ones for commercial, and I never stopped. But you know what? I'm only relevant to those people who are interested in marketing. If you're interested in fly fishing, I'm not your guy, right? This is how the industry of digital marketing has changed dramatically over the last 8 years. In 2008, I was working for a client called Trend Micro. And Trend Micro wanted to know, how do we launch our new brand toward consumer? Up until that point, they would only been focusing on B2B marketing, right? They were working for small and medium-sized businesses. They said, how could we go to the consumer side of business? So we built them a campaign around what we saw as the gap in the marketplace, which was everybody else was fear-mongering. They were saying, if you don't have antivirus, you're going to die, right? They were basically like, your computer's going to crash, everything's going to fall apart, you're going to hate yourself, right? That was basically what McAfee and Norton Antivirus were doing. So we said, well, what if we took the other approach? Fearless web. That was our concept. That basically, if you have antivirus software and it's working, you don't have to worry about it. You never have to think about it again, right? So that was the concept. Let's just go out there and be fearless. We said, you know what? If we just do this ourselves, we're going to be talking to ourselves. We don't have an audience. We got to go build an audience. How do we go do that? So we reached out to a video blogger. His name was Kip K. And Kip K had 500,000 people that were watching his videos. Why? Because he's what they call an ethical hacker. An ethical hacker is somebody who basically takes stuff apart just for fun. So you remember that old Staples Easy button, a little button, it did nothing. You just pressed it, it didn't do anything. Well, he took it apart and turned it into a little spy cam. So when he was sitting on his desk and he pressed the easy button, he was actually recording you, right? Fun things like that. He took apart the HVAC system and decided to basically create what is now Nest. But back in the 90s, no one had anything like that. So he could basically do things like that. It was really cool. And we said, hey, would you be interested in sponsoring some content? If we gave you some money, would you talk about the Fearless Web? He said, absolutely. He'd been doing it for years. No one had ever approached him. So we were the first. Now, what happened was he built this video, and it became the #2 viral video in the United States. Second only to the Avion baby, right? I couldn't compete with babies dancing. That wouldn't work, right? But he was talking about security software and the #2 viral video in the US. And one of his followers jumped out and said, you sold out, man. You totally sold out. Like, oh my God, why would you do this? You're just corporate America, what up? And before he could even reply, several other followers came on and said, no, hold on. This is awesome. This guy is making it big time. He's going pro. Up until this point, he's been making all these videos for fun, but now he's got corporate America coming in and talking to him. This is awesome. And then he chimed in and said, I'll put a little PayPal button to the right of my videos. If every time you watch a video you pay me $1, I will never take another sponsorship dollar in my life. But if you want to keep watching it for free, I thank Trend Micro for coming in and doing this for me. See, that was the beginning for me of influencer marketing. We've always done influence. Influencer's been, since you were a kid, you've been an influencer. But now you can do influencing at scale. And so now you can get these connections and say, okay, well, I want to hire this influencer to basically help me promote my products. And if they're a good influencer, they're only going to do things they believe in. Because basically the whole thing here is authenticity, right? So you're all influencers. If you want to get paid to be an influencer, you can. You got to go deep. You got to figure out exactly what your niche is and just talk about it. Because no matter how random you think it is, somebody wants to hear what you have to think about, honestly. You know, you can't believe the internet's huge, right? There's lots and lots of people who want to hear stuff. Internet marketing was now a matter of, okay, this is awesome. I got Kip K, but how do I do it at scale? If I want to do a campaign and compete with Google or Facebook, you know, Facebook has, you know, 1.6 billion people on it. How can I, you know, this 500,000 is nothing relative to the metrics. So TrayPoint, my agency, found a partner in Tap Influence. Tap Influence is a company that basically aggregates influencers and got 50,000 of them. So now when I want to actually go work for a client, I basically say, okay, who are the top 300 influencers and bring them up and then use them as a means to basically talk about products and services. So if you have a business, I'm not going to go deep into this today. If you have a business and you're interested in influencer marketing to basically help promote your products and services, we hold a monthly webinar at traypoint.com/influencer-marketing, TREPOINT.com/influencer-marketing. Just go there, it's a free webinar. It'll tell you everything you want to know about how to use influencer marketing at scale. If you're not a business, then my encouragement today is to figure out how you can be more of an influencer than you already are, right? Here's the thing. You heard at the beginning, I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan, right? I actually just got to interview the man 2 weeks ago, one-on-one. It was phenomenal. It's one of the best experiences in my life. He is the ultimate influencer. And the thing I'll tell you is, his advice, if he was sitting here right now today, was 2 things. Today, play full out. No matter what you are thinking about these speakers, someone comes up and you don't necessarily care about the topic, lean in, don't lean out. Don't get back onto your phone and think about, here, what can I learn from this? Is there something that I can use? Play full out means, if you're here, be here. Don't be on social media, chatting with your friends, don't talk, you check in your email, don't try to catch up on things. You're here for a reason. You're going to learn stuff today. There's a phenomenal amount of speakers that are coming up right after us, right? There's going to be a lot of good wealth of information. Play full out. Figure out what it is that you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and take what you can learn from each one of these speakers. The second thing is, take massive action. Why? Because if you sit here and you just sort of absorb all this information and you do nothing different, has anything helped you at all? I mean, it's intellectually curious, right? It's cool, but is it going to make your life better in any meaningful way? No. So if you want to take what you learned today, I want to encourage you to do 3 things. I don't care what they are. If you're interested in influencer marketing, you can go to my webinar next month. That's one thing you can do to learn more about influencer marketing. If you want to be an influencer, Google influencers, and you're going to find a whole bunch of books, right? From Getting to Like to Stop Chasing Influencers, How to Be an Influencer. Read up on it, right? Take some action. Or if you hear another speaker and they're talking about something you really like, do it. Put it on your calendar. Make it happen. Who's with me for that? Say yes. I'm not convinced. Who's with me on playing full out today? Yes. Not really. So I'm just here and sort of, yeah, okay. One more time. Who, with all your energy, with all your passion, show me what you got. Who's here to play full out with me today? Yes. That's what I like to hear. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today.